and welcome back to the channel after what feels like an awfully long time since I've posted a video. In fact, it was only a week ago, but I've done rather a lot this week, so time really has flown by. So today we're going to talk about some new materials I purchased, something I've been building, projects for the upcoming few weeks, and just a general catch up about some things that I'm busy doing in the workshop. Let's get going. So we're going to start with the new materials I purchased. So firstly, I bought 3 elm blanks. They're 5x5x2 inches. So these should be great in the workshop, and I'm really looking forward to turning them. Now I bought these to experiment with colouring, texturing, and things like that. Then we have this, which is a really interesting timber. This is called Tamboti, I think. It's quite toxic, so I'm going to have to be pretty careful turning it, but the colours and the sapwood on this are absolutely amazing. I don't know whether you can make out that big bit of sapwood there. But it's a really nice timber, and I'm really looking forward to giving that a go. It's deciding to like half snow, half rain outside at the moment, bit of sleet. So if it does end up snowing, that'd be nice, but we'll see. And then I bought this beech blank, which is 8x8x2, and all of these came from Surrey Timbers, which is where I get all of my timber from. And this is a really light coloured wood, so this would be great for colouring, or maybe even some burning. Now, I've always wanted to try turning this specific timber, which is Italian olive. It's quite an expensive timber because it's quite rare, to be honest, and the trees aren't massive, but it's an absolutely lovely timber. Look at all that figure and grain there. It's an absolutely stunning bit of timber. And then just your bog standard wild mango. Particularly like turning wild mango. It turns pretty well. It's quite dusty timber to turn, but it does finish beautifully. And then I also purchased a bit of babinga. Babinga's become one of my favourite woods to turn. It's not particularly difficult, but it finishes really well. Now this bit of babinga has a beautiful pinky red colour to it, and I think this would be great for making some really nice spindle projects with. As I said, I probably spent, I don't know how much, but I spent quite a lot because I wanted to get some really nice spindles and some really nice bowl blanks. And I'm really excited to get turning all of these things, and especially looking forward to turning the olive and this babinga. Now in terms of other things, I've been using this DeWalt miter saw over here, and it's absolutely fantastic. You simply just pull this, push this, and then you can put it down. And it's also got the sliding action as well, and you can do bevel cuts. Now, I think this has inspired me to purchase one for myself. This is the builder's one that they let me use, and it's absolutely fantastic. I built this shelf over here with it. Now it's not finished because I ran out of wood to finish the top bit, but pretty happy with how it's turned out. It fits everything exactly as I intended. They're all made to custom fit what I wanted in here. So this is for like routers and sanders and all that kind of stuff. This one's specifically made to fit wood. This one's just for general stuff, sanders, toolboxes. And then the bottom one's like an odds and ends one that's just for whatever I need to throw in it. And to be honest, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I've never made anything of this size before, and I think for a first attempt, I'm not too fussed about if it's perfect, but I'm really happy with it. I think with a little bit of the finishing touches, it's going to be really nice in here. And it fits this alcove really well. The wall and the wood isn't perfectly straight, because it's interesting to see, because they're only garage walls, they sort of do that a little bit. So just going to have to screw it in quite hard onto the walls, and you can see where it bows out slightly there. But I think it'll look really good in here once I've screwed it to the wall, and it's going to be incredibly functional as it filled this square space here that was wasted. Now over here I'm planning on building a very long workbench, just using an old countertop and some CLS stud timber like I used to build this shelf from. I think it'd be really helpful to have a long workbench that runs the length along here, as then I can put all my machinery on it. Now the next project I'm working on, which is today's project, is to use all of these offcuts of 2x2 and whatever this is, 4x2 maybe, to build a log store. Now, the builders have just been leaving every bit of wood here for me so I can use it if I want, or I can just chuck it in a skip. But these are the offcuts of the 2x2, and they're all a fairly similar size. Now, this is probably about perfect for making my log store, and I think having a log store in the workshop, just being able to be used, would be really helpful. It won't actually be in the workshop, it'll be just around the corner outside, because obviously you want to allow them to air dry and get nice and dry. And to do this, I'll be using the miter saw, because as they said to me, you might as well make the most of it whilst it's here. And I probably will end up buying one at some stage, but they're quite expensive, especially for a really good one. And given the main projects I want to use it for are the workbench build, this log store, the shelf, and some shelving that's going to go along this top bit for the wood, I might as well just use it now, and then hopefully I might not have to buy one immediately. Now this log store is not going to be particularly complicated. It's just going to be lots and lots of 2x2 cut up, butted together like this, screwed together, and then it will just go outside with a nice roofed felt over it. Again, I don't have enough plywood to make the top yet. I'm going to build a little sort of thing on wheels here that will hold all of my wood. I've got loads of offcuts and things around here at the moment. All of my small scraps are down here, and then these are the new mahogany boards that came from the loft. They've got all of this lipping on them, which I ripped off on the bandsaw. But I think these would be really great to use in the workshop, and having some mahogany or whatever it is would be really nice. It does look like mahogany. They're not particularly straight though. They're a bit bowed, so if I run them for a thickness planer, which hopefully I can find someone who has one, and that would be really helpful. But I think these are really nice boards, and they'll be really cool in the workshop. To be honest, there's some really good ones, and there's some that are a bit worse to wear, like this one behind here. It's got a lot of cracks on it. So we'll have to pick our way through it and find out what's the best here. But there's 29 boards here in varying sizes, and I think it would be really helpful to have a good stock of timber in the workshop. And I'm probably going to run a shelving unit along here because there's the stud work here, so I can just screw some battens along here to hold all of this wood. Because this is going to be my main wood store, but I don't want to just fill it with a load of these mahogany boards that won't get used that often because they're massive, so I'll probably have other bits of timber I want to use first. But when I do get around to using these, they'll either stay here or they'll go up there. I'm not quite sure yet. They're not massively heavy. They're quite dense though, so they should be alright up there though. I checked with the builders, there's a stud run down there. You can see where the screws are, so it'll be absolutely fine if I wish to put a shelf up there. But that's a thought for another day. Now over here is another new workshop addition. This came from a rotting shed at the bottom of the garden, and I found this metal cabinet when we moved here. It's a really good little metal cabinet, and it's now got all of my finishes and things like that in. So I'll show you around. It's a little bit difficult to open one-handed. There we go. I'll just keep the key on me. So in here we've got things for cars and just 2 random bits and bobs, and then up here we've got like oils, we've got dyes and things like that. This is my ebonising solution, and then there's some concentrated sugar soap in there. So that's that first drawer. Now for this one. This has got all of my spray paints in, some glues and things like that, and oils, as in like maintenance oils. And then up here we've got a big stock of Woodworker blend. These are my workshop ones, and then I've got loads inside. Mini first aid kits and tape, Gorilla Glue and tape measure. And then this one's got all of my chestnut finishing oils, teak oil. Here is a load of the old Woodworker blends and failed ones. And then I've got this one, which is the one I'm currently using, which is, I've used it quite a lot. And then we've got this one here, which is almost brand new. Then I've got my Brasso there, some super glue, these new Hampshire Sheen waxes. Yep, there they are. Machine wax. Down here we've got more finishing stuff, so we've got Danish oil, woodworm killer, WD-40, Gorilla Glue, and some No More Nails. I do have another massive bottle here of Gorilla Glue, but I like to use these smaller bottles to pour with, so I bought 2 of these so that I can just use these rather than have to lift around a massive bottle, which isn't that easy for when you're doing glue-ups. So that's that metal cabinet, and then I've currently got my planes up here, and some things that I've made and bits and bobs. The other 2 planes are currently on the workshop bench, as I was using those a few days ago. Over here still needs organising, as does the rest of these bits, but as I said, I'm planning on running a long workbench along here, which should be much better because I can then put things like my planes away, all of these. The planes are probably going to end up on this wall. I'm going to have a nice hand tool workbench thing up here, so that will be the hand tool workbench. And then this will have a lovely sort of hand tool storage system up here, so lots of racking and lots of nice display shelves and things like that. Now I have got a little script here of all the things I wanted to talk about in this video, so I'll work my way through that. Now something I wanted to talk about is these, which are my spheres that I've been working on. So here is a resin one. I don't have a polishing wheel, so I can't get a nice finish on it, but this is insanely cool. It's bark encased in resin that I got from Surrey Timbers. It's really cool, this blank, and I absolutely love how it looks. So cool. I don't know what bark it is, what tree it came from, but all I can tell you is it's incredibly cool. And it appears to be snowing, which is coming into the workshop, lovely. And then this is an oak sphere. This one I'm super happy with. I decided to use a gloss lacquer for this, as I can't really finish it with Woodworker blend because it's off the lathe, but I'm really happy with this. This is so cool. I love the shininess to it, and it's pretty much perfectly spherical. The resin one's not quite as good, but it's all about practice and technique. I've only ever turned these two, so with practice I'll get better. But I'm planning on making a few more of these. This is made out of oak countertop, which is, if I've got a piece, this stuff, oak countertop. We've got absolute tons of it because that is made from it, the sink in here, and also in our utility room. And there are loads of offcuts from where they cut out the sink and the offcut from the side. So I've got absolutely tons of the stuff, and I'm making bowls from it, spheres from it, everything I can possibly think of. But this is the sphere that I'm super, super, super happy with, and I just love the finish on it. It feels smooth. I feel like with something like this with a bowl, you want it to be super glossy, whereas with a bowl, I prefer a slightly less glossy look. But yeah, that's what I've been working on there. And then I'm planning on starting an Etsy site at some point, probably in a month maybe, once I've got everything turned. And I'm going to be selling things like this, which is my oak bowls. This one I'm not as happy with the overall form and shape, but I've got loads more in the house that I'm much more happy with. But it's really nice. It's finished with wood tanners blend on the outside. Don't know whether you can see that. It's got quite a bit of a shine to it, more than usual because I applied 2 coats, but I'm really happy with it, and it's got a nice consistent wall thickness, which is what I was really aiming for with this. So I'm going to be selling things like this. I'm probably going to make about 10 as an initial trial batch, if I can speak. And I'll probably throw in a few more things to the website, things like maybe Easter egg decorations. Now I'll talk about those. So I've got loads and loads of offcuts of spindles like this piece of Babinga. And something I've really wanted to try is turning Easter eggs. Now I turned a really nice one out of some Sobrano, which unfortunately is in the house. I'll go and grab it now. So here was the first Easter egg. This is the very first prototype made out of Sobrano. Quite happy with it, but this bit needs to be a bit more rounded. All in the practice. So I'm going to be making quite a few of these, probably about 20 I suspect. Sorry if you can hear the running taps, it's about 8 in the morning so everyone's still getting up and things like that. But I've been out here for quite a while because I've been trying to get some projects sorted and get stuff made. So these are the Easter eggs that I'm going to be making. Obviously I said I want to make them a bit better, so this needs to be more rounded, but I think they're quite cool and they're a nice sort of gift or something like that for Easter, and they're quite fun and tactile to mess about with. So I think these would be a nice little thing to put on my Etsy site. So for now it will be probably about 10 bowls and about 20 Easter eggs. And I don't know what sort of prices I'm going to do at yet. I mean, I'm looking at the raw cost of wood, things like that, labour, how long it takes me to make it, cost of Etsy's selling fees, and obviously postage I'll have to include because it won't be able to be free postage because they're going to be a lot bigger. It's really snowing outside, so apologies if you can hear all of that. So, other things that I want to just quickly talk about, I would really appreciate some recommendation on a planer thicknesser. I don't really want to spend a ridiculous amount. My ideal budget would be around the £400 mark, but if I had to stretch, which I don't really want to have to do, because it would mean all of the workshop budget sort of things just depleted, but I would go, I've looked at the Accents one, which is about £1,000, but that's a bit out of my price range at the moment. But if you guys think it's really worth getting one like that and saving for a better one, then please let me know because I'll just wait a bit longer. I'm not in urgent need of a planer thickness, so those mahogany boards I can probably get planer thicknessed maybe without having to buy a planer thicknesser yet. But I'd appreciate your planer thicknesser recommendations. As I said, ideal budget would be around the £400 mark. I need it to be able to do about 25cm boards in terms of its planing functions, and thicknessing anything that's about an inch thick probably, and that would probably be alright for me. Actually no, probably 2 inches, because 2x2 and stuff would be quite helpful to put through there. Other bits, I would also appreciate mitre saw recommendations. That DeWalt one I particularly like, but it's quite an expensive one. And other things I've looked at are the Bosch Professional one. I don't want to spend a fortune on a mitre saw, but I think it'll probably become a much used tool in the workshop. So if you think it's worth getting a more expensive one, let me know. As I said, I'm open to buying the more expensive tools if they're going to last and you think they're worth it. I'm interested in your guys' opinions because obviously I'm only one person. I've only got my own opinion, and I'd appreciate yours guys' opinions because obviously you all use tools and things like that. So it'd be incredibly helpful to get your guys' opinions on that. So I realised I said your guys about 100 times in that sentence. Another couple of things I want to do. I want to make another model boat, but much bigger this time and much more refined and not so heavy. Again, they're not going to have motors in or anything like that, but it will have a sail this time. And I'm planning on sailing it quite a distance out to the sea. attach it by a rope. If I lose it, but I'll attach it by a long string and see how far it gets out to the sea. That would be a summer project, but I'll start making it around April sort of time, because I'm planning on making it probably about a metre or so, I reckon. Maybe 3/4 of a metre. I'm thinking quite a big boat, and it will be very hollow, very light, and I think it'll be rather cool to make. I'm probably going to make it out of pine and just paint it, because pine's cheap, and I don't want to spend a fortune on something that's going to be bashed about in the sea, and then I can just paint it and that'll be pretty much waterproof as is. Another thing is the flower competition. So in January it was the fire competition where I made my Scorched Inferno bowl. This month the challenge that's been released is in the theme of a flower. Now I've got a couple of ideas of that. One is using a skew to create flowers where you basically sort of push the fibres and they splay out to make a really cool flower. I've seen Colin Way do it, I've seen Nick Zametti do it, and I've also seen someone called Barry do it on YouTube. Now, the only issue for that is I don't have a chuck, so trying to hold a thin branch isn't really going to work particularly well. And I'm not paying for a chuck. I don't want to buy a chuck at the moment. I can make nearly everything I wish to make without a chuck. Why spend money on a chuck if I don't have to? And I know one way that I can do it, which is to make a sacrificial piece of wood, drill a hole through it, and then ram the stick into that drilled out hole, and then that'll probably mean I won't have to buy a chuck, as I can probably get around that. If not, we'll make a different sort of flowered theme. But that's my ideal sort of thing I want to make, is lots of those splayed out flowers, then glue a piece of wire or glue a little wooden dowel to it and turn a really nice vase or something like that. Probably turn the vase out of, I've got this nice bit of, I think it's umbelo or something like that. I'm not sure, it's quite a thick piece. I think it's about 3x3, 4x4, I'm not sure, but in inches, sorry. But I think that'd be quite cool to make a vase out of. What else did I have on here? Oh yeah, I really would love to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of June. Now, I'm aware that's quite a big goal, and it's quite ambitious, but I don't think it's out of the question. We're at, I think, 426 the last time I looked, and I'd really like to reach 1,000 by the end of June. I've got lots of projects coming up that I think will really help the channel grow. So, for example, I think the shelving unit should do quite well. This workbench, I think, will make a really good video. Things like turning the spheres without a chuck, where I use 2 push plates and push them together, I think that would be quite a good video, and that should hopefully do quite well on YouTube. I've got lots of other projects I want to do, so things like bandsaw kind of stuff. I want to do a video all about this DeWalt bandsaw, because I'm aware lots of people don't have brand new bandsaws, and there's only one video about this bandsaw on the whole of YouTube, and it's literally a 1-minute video, just literally walked around the bandsaw. And to be honest, I tried to look on YouTube for any help about this bandsaw, where to buy spare parts, how to maintain it, how it all works. Nothing on YouTube, barely anything on the internet, so I spent probably best part of a day doing lots of research. I did manage to eventually find sites, but no one wants to spend a whole day looking for stuff. So I thought it'd be quite helpful if I made a video to talk about the bandsaw and what I dislike, where I get my blades from, blade sizes, Allen key sizes, all of like the in detail stuff, the proper specification about the bandsaw, stuff I don't like, stuff I do like, how I would recommend setting stuff up on it. All that kind of stuff is going to be in a video in about a month's time. So I think that would do really well on YouTube, and I think that would really help a lot of you guys who have this bandsaw. I don't think any of my subscribers at the moment have it, but I know there are people who have it on YouTube, because if you look at search results, it's always quite popular in search stuff. Other things I want to do are the wood storage cart, which I've spoken about for all those mahogany boards and stuff like that, and the log store, which is hopefully going to be built today, unless it keeps snowing, because these things are 4 meters long and they're going to have to stick out the workshop when I'm using the mitre saw, and if it's covered in snow, it's not going to be very easy. We'll do our best. Other things, machinery workbench, spoke about that. Ebonised bowl. Oh, it is here. I've been practicing ebonising. This is a piece of oak countertop that I had a go with ebonising. Still smells a bit of vinegar, lovely. This is just a little bit of oak countertop that I ebonised. I wasn't worried about the black marks in here and the tool presentation and all that stuff. This was purely practice for colouring and getting a nice black colour to this. I'm going to be doing this on a much larger scale, on a bowl of about 1.5 times this size, probably, maybe this size, and I think ebonising it would look wicked, and I think this looks so cool with all of its features. It's interesting because some people really like this white mark here where you have the different piece of oak. Personally I don't, but it's just interesting to see how dark black that bit is and then this bit isn't. All to do with the tannins in the oak and how they react with the vinegar. Causes a chemical reaction, something displaces something. I'm not a chemist, I don't know the details, but It's quite cool chemical reaction, and I think it'll look really good on a bowl. Sticker wall, that's the other thing. I've been doing lots of sticker swaps, so I've got a Chestnut Product sticker, I've got a Brothers Make sticker, a Sean Evely sticker, Ben Stanton sticker, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think I've got another sticker as well. I'm trying to remember all these stickers that I've got. Obviously I've got the Wood Tanners Blend one, Design and Make one, Surrey Timbers one. If I have forgotten any, I'll put them in the description, but anyway, I'm going to be building a sticker wall, and it's going to go up on the workshop somewhere, and I think it'll look pretty cool in the workshop. And other bits and bobs, Wood Tanners Blend. I'm really trying to grow Wood Tanners Blend at the moment, and it'd be really helpful if you guys want to support the channel if you go and purchase some of that. I'll leave a link in the description down below. So that's basically it in terms of things on this list, I believe. Let's have a look. Yep, that's it in terms of things on this list. So that's basically it for the workshop vlog. I don't think I've missed anything out in particular. Another thing, if you've got any drill press recommendations, that would also be really helpful if you guys have any recommendations of a budget sort of bench top drill press. Don't want to spend much past the about £200 mark if I really have to. As I said, these were the main sort of tools that I had saved up for in the workshop, so it'd be really great if you guys could give me some recommendations. Well, I hope you've enjoyed watching this workshop vlog, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing the exciting things like my new Etsy site that I'll be starting. It will still be under the name Wood Tanners Blend for now, but if it does well, within about a week I'll probably start another one called Design and Make. But it'll be things like this oak bowl and other things like these eggs and bits like that. So thank you so much for watching this workshop vlog. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any questions or project suggestions or general help about things like tool purchases, let me know down in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching this. The next video will most likely be building the shelf. Thank you for watching.